Speaking of speaking things into existence, you expected this. You should have expected this. Shield, let's call them what they are, access media. And I think that term kind of flies over the head of just your basic person. What access media and what when we use the term, we're referring to those groups of people that, some of them call themselves journalists, but they're media entities that really are and solely are reliant on the access that they get to the product, right? Definitely now in the day and age of online media. So much of the revenue that people bring in, it isn't for paid subscriptions or buying a newspaper or magazine anymore. It's ad revenue or something like that. And in order for them to get that click, or in order for them to get that viewership, the access, it's important. It's very important to them that they maintain that. And that access is often early access to, like, let's say a product, a movie, like early viewing, or just being in the good graces of getting information out, exclusives. Like, that's all of what we refer to as access media. And we expected this. I certainly expected this because they've done it time and time again. I remember them doing this with Carol Danvers as well, where it was a coordinated push and it was so unorganic that it was so obvious. Okay. And what I mean by that is that we cover them, articles that will just hype this character to be someone that they're not, right? As in, like, the response that the audience gave it, like, y'all are gassing who this character was. That's not to say that the character sucked or anything, but you see that there's a degree of hyping. And look, that's what marketing's all about, is that you're trying to hype the product, but it was so not organic. And I know you guys have probably seen this with other franchises, but just because this is really what I know and what I'm knowledgeable on, I've seen this, especially as you get closer to a character appearing on like a movie or something like that, right? Definitely with superhero movies having the odds that they have on them, this character is going to be introduced there. Okay, access media, go do your thing and hype this shit up to the stratosphere. And we saw this with She-Thor. AKA Jane Foster. And I had been covering this before she was announced. I actually said she was going to be appearing you can go watch my old videos on that, back when I would cover stuff and I was still reading the books, getting them every Wednesday. I tell you guys how this character is like being pushed to be in a position that they are going to then appear it seems rushed. And they're trying to make this, like, they're going to be appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe very soon. And that's exactly what happened. So with Jane Foster, it was like, well, they pushed her. Shield Media is going to always say that Mighty Thor was at 2014, 2015, whenever that was like this uber big success. No, it was not. And it was not as well received as they like to present it as. Well, because of the way that they set up Jason Aaron and company, they set this character up. It was like she was either going to die off or at some point, you can't just have Thor not being Thor as an Odinson. And Thor ended up being Thor again. And then she kind of goes back to having but like right after that, and y'all remember that we covered this, she was Valkyrie. And a lot of people don't even know that shit. Yes, she was Valkyrie. And this is why I think they about to do some gay shit maybe between those two characters. I don't know. But nonetheless, with Valkyrie, she becomes Valkyrie. She gets this like all weapon. It's a literal get out of jail free card. I don't want to run through all the storylines. You need to go watch my old videos if you want all that. But it's called like the Underyarn or something like that. And it was literally a weapon that could do every fucking thing. Like, I'm not even joking. The weapon could do everything. Like, that's literally what it was. It was like this whole weapon that could turn into fucking whatever she needed. It was a time where she was about to like fall off or something, and then the damn weapon turned into this and said like it's a get out of jail free card, essentially. She's Valkyrie. She like is able to like best death in battle basically, like Lady Death, that is, well, Marvel's version of that, the one that, Thanos was looking up to. It was insane how they were just trying to give this character in a short period of time these various storylines to try to hype her up. We saw the writing on the wall, right? I did. I don't know about, I can't say for we. I mean, I saw that they were going to try to put her in a position of prominence. Well, now, here we go. Marvel's other god of thunder, which is funny how they word that, is unbreakable. It's like, yeah, we know she's a Mary Sue. You ain't got to tell us that. The demon Mephisto, and this is following major spoilers, by the way, if you are still somehow reading Marvel Comics, modern Marvel Comics. The demon Mephisto has sought to eradicate the Avengers and their legacy time and time again. His latest plot encompasses the grander stage of the multiverse. My narcolepsy, it almost kicked in and I almost fucking fell asleep again. I caught it that time, so there we go. By inspiring creation of multiversal masters of evil, Mephisto has unleashed a new breed of terror upon Earth's mightiest heroes. Thankfully, there is one Avenger who is indomitable beyond all measure, and Jane Foster has just given her enemies a stark reminder in the best way possible. So Jason Aaron is still writing Avengers. Finds Jane, Avengers 56 finds Jane living out what would otherwise be a picturesque life of peace and prosperity in the fantastical forest of Asgard. The idyllic countryside would be a dream come true for most, but for Jane, something is lacking. It isn't her husband. Thor isn't doting enough, or that Asgard doesn't feel like home. Rather, there's a constant nagging in the back of her mind, eating away the facade of the world around her. I feel like Marvel themselves wrote this and then they gave it to CBR. It's being crafted by Mephisto and his Council of Red. Jane gradually realizes that everything around her is an illusion and strikes back against her captors with the power of the Underyard. Yes, the all weapon. So they mentioned it in this article about the all weapon that I was talking about. There's her as, of course, she's everybody, guys. She was basically ruler of Asgard. She was, of course, Thor. She was now she's Valkyrie. I'm guessing sometime between then she might have stopped being Valkyrie. I know during the War of the Realms she went back to being Thor for a little bit and then she became Valkyrie. So she's like I wasn't making that up. Like it's literally a weapon that's a get out of jail free card. This motherfucking, I'm not joking. The weapon could basically do every fucking thing. It could do everything. Oh, man. So they talk about blah, blah, blah. So basically giving y'all a history lesson of her and everything. Luckily, death wasn't the end for Jane. No one has gone who has gone to become both Valkyrie and wielder of the Underyard as well as Avenger. I know, man, she's been every fucking body. And it looks like doing this multiversal shit, we got both of these, both Jane Fosters, in which we have her as Thor, and she's also as Valkyrie. Brunhilde, I don't know if they've brought her back, but she got killed off in the comics when I was last reading. The Valkyrie, who you think of generally as Valkyrie, she's not in the picture anymore. She got killed off. Basically, no. I almost forgot. This is how much of a Mary Sue she was. In that, it's funny how all this is coming back to me. So all the fucking Valkyries died. Like all the people that would generally be so associated as being a Valkyrie, but when you think of Valkyrie, you think of Brunhilde. All of them were dead. All of them were killed. She was basically presented as the last Valkyrie, which she turned into because of reasons. She becomes Valkyrie. And again, she has this Underyard all weapon that just does fucking goddamn anything, any and everything. I forgot that was a thing. That was an actual storyline that they pushed in which she was basically the last of the Valkyries. And yeah, after literally right after she was finished being Thor. So now they're going in on both of those. And they say Mephisto's slate of temptations haven't just been lobbed at Jane, although she is easily the fastest one to brush them off. Why wouldn't she be the fastest one to brush off anything that Mephisto was attempting to do? Of course, her of all people would be the one to snap out of it before everybody, all of the Avengers, even the Mephistos from across the multiverse she encounters in their illusionary Asgard. Man, this multiverse stuff is boring me to fucking death. Asgard seemed more annoyed than anything when they were tasked with trying to diminish her spirit, as one of them notes during the battle. The Janes, so it's like a bunch of Janes, are all but unbreakable. Considering everything she has been through, this isn't much of a surprise. Like she's the term Mary Sue can be used, let's say, a little too often. But if there is one to be, because cancer couldn't even kill her, right? Cancer could not kill Jane Foster, okay? Even though it killed Marvel, it didn't kill Jane Foster. She's unbreakable, so they're writing that. She can beat everybody. She even has a weapon that does fucking everything. If there is to be a Mary Sue that exists, it's her. She is, I can't think of a better one right now, at least, for Marvel Comics. She is a classic Mary Sue. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.